Like, all of the Warhammer games have great music. Yeah, it is a Baldur's Gate style of game, yes. It is a Dragon Age style game. It is a Pillars of Eternity style game. It is an Divinity Original Sin type game. Party-based RPG where you control a group of people and it's very heavily story-based. And I am new to Warhammer. I have friends and my boyfriend who's very into Warhammer who have talked about it so much that made me want to learn more and like get invested in the world. So first we need to go say hello to Pascal, my beloved. This is Pascal and he's not allowed to date me, and I'm sad.
The Omniscient knows all, comprehends all.
Of course I want to date the freaky tech priest. Ah, goodbye.
May your labors be effective and fruitful.
Goodbye. Okay. So we just went and did his whole quest with the there was like a monastery that we had to go save, and while we were there we met, I don't know where he stands on the bridge, he's new. We met, oh, he's behind me. We met this guy who is an inquisitor. He's kind of the he was sort of the main plot, was to come find him. He's an inquisitor, so he like tortures people for information. But he's also a psyker, which is really interesting because in the Warhammer universe, psykers, who are people who have psychic powers, they have psychic powers, but like they also are kind of crazy. Like, it makes them crazy, and they're at risk of having like space demons infect their brain at any time. My character is a psyker, but psykers are generally not trusted, and they're generally like, people call them witches and stuff. So it's really interesting that, to me, that the Inquisitor is also a psyker. And I haven't really talked to him at all because we just got him and just came back to the ship last stream. So I want to know about his psychic powers. What can you do as a
The Lord
psyker?
Inquisitor was most insistent that I master the discipline of Santic Demonology. I use my faith and my power to crush the enemies of the Imperium. Servants of Chaos tremble at the sound of the Emperor's name, uttered by my lips. I am also a skilled biomancer. I can manipulate bodily processes. Sometimes I resort to those skills in the course of my work, when it is necessary to make the subject of an interrogation more cooperative.
Kinda? What was that in response to? Me saying they were kinda crazy? I wish that I could hover over, like, okay, so they let you hover over words when you don't know what they are. But they don't let me hover over the words I want to know, like what sanctic demonology is. Ah, yeah, future-y. I mean, it is set in the future, but it's set in Warhammer, which is a very unique and distinct thing. Which, by the way, if any Warhammer nerds show up, I love Warhammer nerds, and I want you all to tell me things about lore and stuff. Yeah. There are no good guys. And everyone is miserable. Except the orcs, who are having the time of their life. Alright, I'm gonna let him talk more and I have to blow my nose. Tell me about yourself.
I'm usually the one interested in the pasts of those around me. not the reverse. I come from a night world, Guizorn 3. I belong to a branch of one of the noble houses until my exceptional abilities were discovered. After that, I was sent on a black ship to Holy Terra, where I was trained and I began my service for the glory of the Imperium.
A night world? I've never heard of that. Some parts of Warhammer 40k feel like they were created by a 14-year-old boy, and the concept of a night world feels like one of them. Like, it's in space, but there are planets that are like a feudal world with kings and stuff. And so you get to be a knight, but like in space. It's just I'm just like, oh really? How'd you discover your abilities?
Like many psychers unaware of their curse, I found out when a strong emotional reaction triggered an involuntary response. My great-aunt had a pet grink. One day, it bit me, and I boiled it from inside out. And when my great-aunt slapped me for what I'd done, I boiled her too.
Oof. I was giggling at his big emotional reaction was a hamster biting him, and then it got sad. This guy is the only one that we've met that I'm 90% sure is a romance option. But he's so cocky, and I'm not into this. I think he's an interesting character, but meh. I like this one because she's like, the story is absurd, but then she accuses him of like, I don't know what I'm more surprised by, the absurdity of the story or the fact you're capable of such a show of emotion? Like, why? Since when is he incapable of emotions? That's dumb. I expected a more dramatic story. I'm gonna go with that.
If I were to summon a demon or rain down fire on everyone's heads, we wouldn't be standing here talking right now. However, I took the life of a family member. In my opinion, that is more than enough drama.
Fair. Alright, I'm done talking to you. Let's go to our next objective. So the basic plot is that we were on a ship, and our ship got attacked by bad guys, and in the process, the leader of the ship died. And because I had just met her, but I was a long-distant relative, and she was going to train me up to be the heir of her whole everything. But she died in the attack, and so I kind of got thrust into power, and I'm now in charge of everything. But in the process, our ship got really, really banged up, and so we're trying to fix it and get all the things that we need. When we were here, we were trying to get a chief engineer type of person, and that was Pascal, and we got him. Hi, Odurin! Hello, hello, hello. But we still need a lot of other stuff. But the plot that's like slowly revealing itself is the fact that the guy who was like a traitor and like brought the bad guys to our ship. He stabbed me with a knife that made my brain infected with some sort of demon entity that I have not told anyone about. And I'm like, girl, tell someone that you have a thing living in your head. But she's not telling anyone, and that's like not an option. So, hi, Odurin. The dogs are upstairs asleep with the mod that lives in my attic. They're sleeping under the bed with him. They love being under the bed while we're in the bed. That's like their favorite place. And I stretch, and if you can't see it, it's because my hands aren't working properly today. Because my couch is green, and I'm wearing a green sweater, and I think it's having a hard time seeing my torso. But it's so cold in here, I'm not taking the sweater off. You guys can just deal. What else did I need to do? Hydrate! So, it was strongly suggested, yeah, that we... Oh, we have to talk to the governor? You green screened yourself? Well, my tracking thing, like, it's just a webcam and it tracks my body, like my arms, but I have found that it doesn't work well if I have a dark shirt on because it's looking for, like, I don't know, light stuff, and it apparently doesn't work very well when I have a green. It looks like it's working now, but yeah, my sweater is green and the couch behind me is green, so I think that it is struggling. They're like, I can see it like glitching in and out, but yeah. Hello, Burbiloquence, and Andre! Hello, welcome to Warhammer. So, we have quests to do a whole bunch of stuff, but, we need a navigator. So, they said the navigator was our, like, most urgent thing. So, in Warhammer... Oh. Lord Captain, sorry to disturb you. It's pandemonium outside the bridge gate. One of the officers seems to be demanding an audience with you in person. I think I hear Master Wurzurian's voice. In any case, I wanted to warn you in advance. One pity bitty for VT glitchies. Lurking and cooking. I hope hammers are profitable. So we were flying somewhere, and then it turns out there's some sort of riot or something happening outside. There's a lot of noise, and people are yelling, so we have to go figure out why. Oh my gosh, my big dramatic throne! The everyday sounds of the bridge are disrupted by voices raised in anger, Abelard's voice the loudest of all. This is not the conduct of an officer. These are the antics of a highborn brat out on a lark. Explain yourself, Lieutenant. Avrilla Vent. The young woman standing before Abelard strives with all her might not to quail under the onslaught of her superior's anger. She falters, but then she manages to look him in the eye and say, I apologize, sir, but I must speak to the Lord Captain. Very well, Lieutenant. You may address the Lord Captain, not least because I see you have already seen fit to disturb her. Your unauthorized appearance on the bridge and display of belligerence toward a higher-ranking officer will be logged on your personal file without delay. Lord Captain, Lieutenant Abrilla Bent requesting permission to speak on a matter of extreme importance and urgency. They said she was a highborn brat, so I'm giving her that voice. Yeah, this is Warhammer. Everything is dramatic and gaudy. You may speak, but I want to hear a report, not a shouting match. Having two officers bickering in full view of the bridge is unacceptable. I'm sorry, Lord Captain. I I thought that drastic times called for drastic measures. What's your deal? This matter cannot wait. Any minute now, an assault unit will be dispatched to the lower decks on orders to crush the workers' strike by any means necessary. But I am convinced that this step is unwarranted, and that the crisis itself was provoked by the actions of one of the senior officers. Bent is almost trembling with tension as she delivers her speech, her face extremely pale. There's a workers' strike? How come nobody told me there was a workers' strike? Abelard, in no hurry to intervene, lets out a skeptical huff. He glances at Sourback, who is standing not far from him, but she maintains a stony expression. Who the hell is Sourback? I thought you'd know. I literally just got back from, like, a mission. And we're, like, flying to the next place we have to go. Lord Captain, I urge you to investigate the actions of Seneschal Wurzarian and to intervene in what's happening on the lower decks, because very soon we will have a mutiny or a massacre on our hands. She reels off the last words as though she knows them by heart. She has clearly been preparing to say them for some time. When she is finished, she casts an anxious glance at Abelard and then at you. Yeah, there's an insurrection in the making aboard my ship and no one has informed me? I would not deem it a problem worthy of the rogue trader's attention. The lower decks, as it so happens, are in revolt. 30-some years ago, we even had a revolutionary leader rise up who dared to establish workers' rule across the entire ship. It took a month to restore order, but even 8 years later, we were still battling rumors that the hero had survived his execution and was on the verge of gathering people to fight against tyranny once more. Ugh. Needless to say, the rumors were baseless. As for the current situation, we have sufficient enforcers to deal with it. But on this ship, the word of the Lord Captain carries more weight than a salvo from 100 bolters. I'm sure that if the rogue trader addresses the malcontents directly, she will quell the unrest. I dread to think what problem you will disturb the rogue trader with next. Perhaps you will ask the Lord Captain to break up brawls in the mess room. I have already given you the means to resolve this problem. You simply need to use them. If I may, your ladyship, sending a hit squad to crush the rebellion is a means of ignoring the problem, not solving it. Yeah, what the hell? What? Where does Seneschal Wurzarian come into all this? I shall explain, Abelard intones grimly. I beg you to hurry, time is running out. I will not hurry. Since my competence is under scrutiny, I shall speak for as long as I see fit. This is the first thing that has happened that has made me not like Abelard. Like, I've liked him in every other situation, but this one, I'm like, bro, what the fuck? We have an ad happening in like 30 seconds, so I will read Abelard's speech after the ad. So, there goes. Time for Abelard and whatever nonsense is happening here. I will not hurry. Since my competence is under scrutiny, I shall speak for as long as I see fit. There is an established order up to the way things are done on this ship, and one of the pillars of that system is that the rogue trader's attention is not distracted by trivial matters. It is the Seneschal's role to ensure that. I have always handled internal problems myself, so, of course, when I received information about cultists hiding on the lower decks, I took the matter in hand. So long as I live, not one of the vermin who murdered Theodora von Valancius will find refuge on her ship. We're talking about a workers' insurrection, not, like, heretics, bro. You were far too heavy-handed, Seneschal Wurzarian. Oh, that's his name. His last name is Wurzarian. Arrests, interrogations, mass punishments for entire sectors. It has driven people to the brink. Now there is a strike on the lower decks, in Depot 4 to be precise. 3 workers' clans are involved, but many more are passively supporting them. The situation could degenerate into an all-out insurrection, but when I reported my concerns, the only response I received was an order to dispatch an assault unit and crush the strike with maximum force. What is Depot 4? Depot 4 is one of the poorest sectors on the lower decks. It is home to clans of general laborers. They are not as valuable to the ship as the families who observed its specialized systems for generations. They are an easily replaceable resource, and one of which is now, more besides, giving succor to cultists and minions of the archenemy. Bro, you need to stop your classism. That is your major fault, sir. Your major fault is classism. Otherwise, you're a great character, but you need to know. Depot 4 is poor and troubled, but at worst, that means drunken fights and illegal gut brewing. We have handled the workers of Depot 4 in the past. We would have done so again if the crackdown on Depot 4 hadn't been so harsh. And another important point to bear in mind, the problem is not limited to this sector. It is located on one of the most populated lower decks, and everything that happens there has a knock-on effect on all the neighboring sectors. How did all this start? The situation could boil over at any minute, so I'll give you a condensed version. It all began when the enforcers found a cultist amulet on the body of someone who'd been killed in a drunken brawl. We reported it up the chain immediately, arranged for a cleansing rite to be performed, and opened an investigation. No heretics have been found alive, but the search has brought tensions between enforcers and workers to a head. Master at Arms, the ship's enforcers report to you, and yet you seem hesitant to provide your own perspective. Have we met her? Oh, this is Sourback. We have not met her. She looks awesome. We have definitely not met her before. Cultist amulet, drunken brawl. These do not sound like the same thing. So there was a drunken brawl and someone died. And then whenever they took the body away, they found a cultist amulet on that person. Lord Captain, unlike Lieutenant Vent, I respect the chain of command and realize that it is not within my right to challenge my superiors. She bows her head and then smiles. That being said, while I entirely share Master Wurzarian's opinion on what fate Depot 4 deserves, I must note that this insubordination is a direct consequence of practices that he himself has introduced. Oh? Mistress Sourback, I see you have decided to follow the Lieutenant's example after all. Such behavior does you no credit. It appears I have unearthed an old squabble. Yeah, but see, I'm nosy for gossip, so like, I want to know what's going on. Explain yourself. The ship's regulations state that the Master-at-Arms is responsible for resolving all matters related to the ship's enforcers, and yet it is no secret that the Seneschal has a tendency to show partiality. Those enforcers and officers whom he has deemed particularly promising are at times given permission to approach him for tutelage. I cannot deny Master Wurzarian's experience and insight. The Seneschal has a record of fostering students who have indeed achieved much and demonstrated impeccable performance. However, extending such patronage over the head of their immediate superiors encourages disregard for hierarchy among your ladyship's servants. Today, an enforcer goes to the Seneschal to report an order from the Master-at-Arms that they happen to disagree with. Tomorrow, they will go to the Lord Captain to object to the Seneschal's order. I notice a pattern in these actions. Yeah, okay, that's boring. It appears I have unearthed an old squabble. I would prefer to be left out of it. I dare not waste your time with such trivial matters, your ladyship. Abelard, speak your piece. I see no need to add anything. I acted within the remit of my authority, guided exclusively by the best interest of your protectorate and your personal safety. If you wish to confirm the rectitude of my actions for yourself, I have no objections. What does that mean? If you wish to confirm the rectitude? I don't know what rectitude means. Rectitude. Correct behavior or thinking. Righteousness. Okay, that's what I thought. The correctitude. Got it, okay. If you wish to say that I'm right or wrong, I have no objections. For my part, I urge the Lord Captain to go down to the lower decks, stop the assault unit, and speak directly to the people. You will see that they are not lying or harboring heretics. That way, you will stop the uprising before it begins. Yeah, I'm going down there. Remit rectified. Who talks like that? You do. For Billiquence. Which I said that, and the mod that lives in my attic gave me this little smirk.
I knew who you were talking to before you said her name.
He said, I knew who you were talking to before you said her name. Verbiliquence gives you a little heart. I've heard enough. I'm gonna go down there and deal with this. Praise the Emperor. Thank you, Lord Captain. An enterprise bordering on the sophomoric, but please yourself, Lord Captain. However, I categorically insist that I insult you. What the hell does sophomoric? Doesn't sophomoric mean you're acting like a kid? Relating to or characteristic of a sophomore. That is not helpful. Pretentious or juvenile. Those feel like wildly different things. You think I'm acting juvenile by going down there and talking to my workers, Abelard? He also said escort, not insult. Insist that I escort you. I can't read. Lord Captain, I regret that the enforcers were unable to handle this situation, which then led to your and the Seneschal's involvement. I consider it my duty to go to Depot for myself and see the expedient resolution of this incident. Oh! Oh, we're bringing party members with us. Oh, I thought it was gonna be a cutscene. His vernacular is bombastic in its grandiloquence. Hey, it's Rosarian, take that, scum! Did he throw acid at me? Look who it is, this is all his fault. They threw acid at him. He wipes the sweat from his brow in a startling human gesture, and a telling one, a rare moment when he allows his age and weariness to show through his armor-like veneer of self-assurance. The lower decks are a source of endless problems. Sometimes I dearly regret we cannot replace all the locals with servitors. That's a little bit much. Let's keep moving. Something resembling a nest made out of thermal insulation material. This must be where the workers sleep between shifts. You always seem to agree with Abelard. Lower Deck Rabble is his name. There's a valve here that we can... we turn these? Oh, is it because it's like hot down there and steamy? Why can't we turn valves? I guess we can't, it's just like letting us know they're here. Can we not? Let's go.
And you are here also, esteemed Master Van Callux. Does the Inquisition never sleep?
It is in our collective interest to ensure that the rogue trader does not accidentally meet her demise in the bowels of her own ship. Wouldn't you agree, Seneschal?
Even right behind you. Huge pipes, the arteries of the ship run through many bays delivering stuff. Yeah, okay. The sounds of a heated discussion reverberate through the ship's bays. A Rilla vent of the ship's enforcers is barring the path of her superior, Jocasta Sourback, who has arrived clad in armor. Judging by their expressions and tone, the standoff is dragged on for some time already. So these are the two from the deck. Lieutenant Vent, my patience is wearing thin. I have given you an order. Now get out of my way. I cannot comply with that order, ma'am. This is my deck and my sector. So long as this area remains under the Lord Captain's special oversight, no action can be taken without my express permission. There are only 3 people who are authorized to make me stand down. The first officer, the rogue trader, and the Emperor himself. So not all my lessons fall on deaf ears. And Bellord mutters in crabby approval. He does not clarify whether he means Vent Sourbeck looming over her or both. Your ladyship. They both salute me. I want to speak to the strikers. Right you are, Lord Captain. Allow me to wish you good luck. So,
let's seize the opportunity.
wow, nobles from the upper decks down here to see us? For Depot 4! Dozens of pairs of eyes stare apprehensively at you. The people before you are typical inhabitants of the lower decks. You take in their simple clothing, crude weapons, and faces that display varying levels of mutation, from the barely discernible to the strange to the outright grotesque. What the hell is going on my ship? Our children are freezing. We've done nothing wrong and we're being punished. A whisper passes through the crowd, and you detect a mixture of fear, astonishment, and joy in their reactions. Finally, 3 people break away from the crowd, an elderly woman and 2 men. These must be the leaders. They bow clumsily before you. Lord Captain, you've come down to us. What is troubling you, and why are you striking? Striking? That's news to us, your ladyship. All we're doing is asking questions, saying what we think. Shut up, Ribbit, old Nan. Here's the deal, your ladyship. Your damned enforcers are out all over us down here. They're saying they're looking for cultists. One wrong word and they're reaching their batons. If they want to punish someone, they turn off the heating to the whole base for a week at a time so we get sick and freeze. In my clan, 2 little ones died from inflammation in the lungs, and all because of those enforcers. She spits on the floor. Can we put her in charge? She definitely should be in charge. That man does not have the medal for striking. This woman, however, Argenta does not interrupt the workers, but you see the sadness well in her eyes when the children's death are mentioned. She quietly whispers a requiem prayer and makes a sign over herself. This person's name is Stager. It's all true. Bent is the only officer who stood up for us. It's clear as day who had a mother feet from the lower decks and who grew up amidships and has no fellow feeling towards us. Your ladyship, we're no villains here. We're honest workers, your servants. We've plotted no disorder, and we went on strike openly. And now we've got guns point on. We've plotted no disorder. We went on strike openly? Isn't that disorder? And now we've got guns pointed at us. All we're doing is asking to be allowed to work in peace without being harassed. The persecution started apropos of nothing, you say? That man doesn't know what apropos means. I was told that one of you was found in possession of a cultist amulet and that there are heretics hiding here. A strike can be organized and not disordered. That is true. That woman can stare down a dragon, right? Put her in charge. Old Nan for president. A cultist amulet? What's that? That gewgaw they found on the dead drunkard? If it was something evil or forbidden, we sure didn't know. The enforcers just said they were looking for heretics among us, and anyone obstructing their investigation will be punished. But how can there be heretics here? We know our own people. There have been no new faces around. Definitely not, and if there were, we'd be the first to report them. And as for this amulet, or whatever it is, they took it off a dead body. There are no cultists still breathing in our sector, that's for sure. But when that fight broke out, some enterprising folks looted the bodies. The boots they came back with? Nobody's ever tread these decks in boots so fine, I can tell you that. Seems to me these cultists have better commanders than us. Oh yeah, those boots really were fine, and there was no harm in taking them, right? As for the amulet, it must have been pocketed by someone who didn't know any better. We don't need any amulets around here. We all worship the Emperor, and when they're working, we bow down before the machine spirits of the large and small transformers and the servo motor, the same way my grandfather was taught 100 years ago by a tech priest who came calling. Believe us, your ladyship, we're people of faith. I can confirm the information regarding the proper tending of the machine spirits in this sector. Servitors indicate that these commoners are performing the sacraments they are permitted to know. Naive children, weren't you taught from an early age about the dangers of the archenemy's creations? Weren't you warned that any unfamiliar object could be one of them? We were told, Holy Sister, but it was long ago. Last time we saw a confessor in our sector, it was just after I'd had my third little one. That is regrettable, but you cannot lay the burden of leading a righteous life on the shoulders of the Holy Fathers. Who will you blame when the beasts crawl out of those amulets you stole from the heretics? The Holy Father who was not there, or the scavenger who brought evil down on himself and his neighbors? Don't ask what changes they want. I want to implement changes. It sounds like they need a lot of things down here. Hey, Crusader, don't step on Old Nan. She will strike you in the face. I don't want to accuse them of attacking us. That could have been anybody. What changes do you want? Would you look at this? The exalted Lord Captain herself was asking us bilge rats what we want. Well, here's what. We want you to rein in your damned enforcers, to quit turning off the heat, and to stop battering everything that moves. No, that's not it. We want the enforcers gone from here. We want to be armed. Give us arms and we'll govern ourselves. We'll defend ourselves if those cultists do show their faces. I've been leader of my clan for 20 years now. Getting rid of these club-wielding thugs can only improve things around here. Okay, giving you guns is not the answer. Giving you education, shoes, and definitely not turning off your heat are the answers. Old Nan, chill. You gone too far, old Nan. They'll never let the maggots on the lower decks live without the enforcers breathing down their necks. They probably won't even insist on enforcers on the upper decks, too. As for weapons, what do we need them for? Before the day's out, we'll have someone shooting their neighbor out of stupidity or drunkenness. Exactly. We don't need that. If the enforcers stop hassling us, that'll be enough. In return, we'll find the scavengers who robbed the cultist bodies, and we'll talk to them, one lower decker to another. If there are any more of those damned amulets about, we'll hand them over to the enforcers ourselves. You speak for yourself and your clan, and I'll speak for me and mine. I don't want empty gestures. I want real change. They'll promise us the world now, but as soon as the Anointing One turns her back, these brutes will be on us even harder than before, all because we dared to speak out. The tall worker's eyes dart between the two arguing leaders. Every few seconds he opens his mouth as if planning to agree, but each time he falls silent. Yeah, Ribbit here does not have the balls to rebel. Oh boy. No weapons for you. Spreading anarchy on the ship is the first step towards embracing chaos. Putting weapons into untrained hands would be even worse. Yeah. What's more, the enforcers are needed to maintain order. Withdraw those demands and we will consider the rest. Yeah. I like this one. We need enforcers everywhere and you're not getting weapons, but we will do the rest. The tall worker they called Ribbit shrugs and casts a sidelong look at the old woman. Old Nan, listen. Listen! The Lord Captain has come down to us and is offering concessions, and I don't know a single person in the whole of Depot 4 who's ever stood next to the rogue trader, let alone talked to him. Back down! Now's not the time for you to be a stubborn old crone. Listen to us, old Nan. The 3 clans of Depot 4 ought to act as one. We made our minds up. It's your turn to decide. Don't ask them to disband the enforcers or give us weapons. We don't need none of that. The old woman hisses in dissatisfaction. You two are ganging up on me, is that it? So brave you are against an old woman. But I'll shut up. I will indeed. I won't go against 2 clan leaders on my own. If you want to make peace with the enforcers, make your peace. That's great. Just fantastic. Lord Captain, we're all agreed. old man about to pull out his shiv. Then it's decided. The persecution will stop, and I will expect you to assist in locating any remaining amulets or weapons left by the cultists. What about, like, the other problems? Like, the fact that they need to be educated on, like, you know, don't pick up things that have demons in them? Can we have the nun lady who just stands around on my bridge go down and teach a class about how to identify what has a demon in it? Big talk from an iconoclast. I don't want to hear it. You would be proud of me, Barilliquins. In the last stream, I chose dogmatic options like twice. I think I have like half dogmatic points now. Ugh, move things. Then it's decided. The persecution will stop, and I will expect you to assist us in locating the stuff from the cultists. Your ladyship, thank you. You've not abandoned us lower deckers. You came yourself and settled everything. I'll tell my grandchildren about this, and you know that he will. They took fuel and provisions. I mean, they need those things, so... Of course, your ladyship, we'll root out any nasty business faster than the enforcers, and we'll leave no stone unturned. This is complete bedlam. Are you satisfied, Lord Captain? Then may I suggest we leave the circus and discuss everything en route? I don't know.
The
What else
world
is down here?
trembles beneath
This
my
ocular implant
feet.
was a worthwhile investment.
A manometer? What the hell is a manometer?
Operation.
The gauge shows that the steam pressure in this pipe is close to the maximum, however it does not, and then we can't read it anymore. Why does it do this to me? One of these buttons is a log. However, it does not reach the bars at the other end. Goods? What? We're taking things from them? Oh, it's just got a key? I mean, okay. There are a lot of valves we can turn for some reason. Maybe, okay, so hold on. The gauge shows that the steam pressure in the pipe is close to the maximum, however, it does not reach the bars at the other end. I have no idea what that means. Is this what all the valves are for? What happens if we turn the valve? Nothing is happening. Perhaps turning a different valve will work. Okay. Where did the other valves go? Is this some kind of puzzle?
Intriguing.
A manometer is like a stud detector. Nothing is happening. Okay, how about this one? There's pipes everywhere. I feel like we should not just be running around.
Empyrean guides my gaze.
A container can be seen beyond the massive bars. Perhaps the examining the pipes will allow you to reach it. Huh? There's a door over here. There's so many valves. Like, not just running around turning valves, what's the worst that could happen? Inside the box, a string of scratched letters run down the edge. Different first names, but the same surname. It looks like this box has been passed down in the family from generation to generations. Can we stop taking things from the people who are destitute? None of these pipes do anything.
Powers unseen uncover my path.
Like, is this supposed to be a puzzle or something? That I'm just not understanding? The heat sink warms the air around it to a scorching temperature. This is the warmest area of the bay. I don't understand. The bars at the other end? Like, what are we trying to do here? I'm just, we're just gonna leave it. I can leave because I don't...
I tread a path
I don't understand. Stopping unexpectedly, Abelard imperiously dismisses the unit to stand at a distance and addresses your other companions, saying, I have an urgent matter to discuss with the Lord Captain. Please give us a moment. Looks at you, and his last vestiges of restraint vanish. Well, are you pleased with your investigation, Lord Captain? You kowtowed to the disloyal rabble. You believed their lies and showed them leniency. Next time the ship is attacked by cultists, that rabble will welcome them in with open arms and allow them to wreak whatever havoc they like because they see you as a weak leader. I do not think that's what we accomplished here. Is this how you see your future at the helm of the Von Valancius Protectorate? If anything, they now have more loyalty to their leaders than they did before. They're not gonna welcome somebody to attack their ship because of me being a weak leader. Yeah. There is literally no response here to be like, that doesn't make any sense. I can be mad at him. I can tell him to stop talking to me like that. Why are you so angry I solved the problem seems to be the, I don't know, least offensive option. But why did you have to be the one to do it? And did you consider what it might cost you? I would have handled the situation myself had you not decided to intervene. Remember, Lord Captain Theodora, do you think she ever set one slippered foot on the lower decks? No, she did not. Such matters were left to myself and the junior officers while she dedicated herself to her grand designs for the Protectorate, as any true strategist and rogue trader ought. Ugh. Maybe if Theodora had spent more time on trifling matters, she wouldn't have wound up dead. That has nothing to do with why she died, and that is just a hurtful thing to say. I would be only too willing to trust in my seneschal and not fill my head with such matters, but the situation had spiraled out of your control. Give me a reason why I should continue listening to your advice and trusting your judgment. Right now, I don't see any. These are terrible. These are awful. I mean, the part where there is a new Lord Captain and I will not repeat her mistakes, I mean, she ran the ship as a extremely rich, privileged lady who just sat in her giant bathtub and ignored everyone. There's no HR in Warhammer. There are lots of H's and R's in Warhammer. Fine, we're doing number 1, even though it feels like a dick thing to say. Abelard looks at you stunned and exhales loudly, then he nods curtly. I commend your decisiveness, but I am uncomfortable with introducing new protocols in the midst of a crisis. Valid. And, he stands at attention, I lost my temper, and I believe I ought to explain myself. No, I mean, we're done talking. You've explained plenty. He speaks slowly, the words not coming easily to him. The prosperity of the Bon Balancius Protectorate is not just an empty phrase to me. I left the Imperial Navy for the chance to see it flourish. It was the most momentous decision of my life. I did it because I saw in Lord Captain Theodora's deeds the signs of true greatness. Rogue traders do not simply forge new routes and capture worlds, they create order out of anarchy. That creative impulse was entirely lacking during my time in the military. So I left behind everything I had known, everything my family had known. I come from a long line of officers, and I embarked upon this incredibly reckless venture. Lord Captain Theodora entrusted me with all the concerns she had no time for. She would go off on her flagship for long periods to distant frontiers on scouting voyages, and the advancement of the entire protectorate rested on my shoulders. And then suddenly, everything that had been built over years and years began to quake, rattling like a flimsy hangar on a seismically active world. One of the senior officers betrayed us all. The rogue trader was killed, and who knows what is happening on the planets. I tell you this honestly, without fear of appearing weak. All this has come as a grievous blow to me. I am not panicking or grieving because I cannot allow myself to panic or grieve. I am duty-bound to aid the new rogue trader, to aid you, to find your footing as quickly as possible, and to do that I must insulate you from the problems that in the past have been dealt with by tried and tested procedures set out in the ship's regulations. Procedures that were established long ago and have functioned smoothly for decades cannot suddenly be deemed excess to requirements. I mean, who else would think of full floor buffer rodeos? I mean, this guy has a point, but... I value what Theodora created, and I trust that this situation is an aberration in the ship's otherwise smooth operation. Since the established procedures are working, I see no reason to change them. I mean... yeah. The shadow of incredible strain, which evidently has been wearing on him for some time, finally lifts from his face. I am glad you see the value in the foundations laid by your illustrious predecessor. Why fix what isn't broken? As for me, I shall endeavor not to cause you any further consternation. And now please, let us leave the lower decks. If the rogue trader desires to stretch her legs, there are far more suitable places. Okay. Hi, Bach. I'm sorry, I missed you. Now, can we continue flying to the next place we have to go? We have to go get ourselves a navigator. Hello, just popping in. Well, I'm glad to see you. Ba-ba-ba. How did you know? How did you know? Not again. I am eating raisin cinnamon swirl bread. Lysol flavored waffles? Droll, what the fuck? Lord Captain reporting. The heralds of the Navis Nobilite continued to maintain Vox silence, perhaps due to Urac 5 being off limits to visitors. We intercepted signals from the beacons drifting in the station's orbit. The demands are clear. We are told to turn the ship around immediately. We have also detected an accumulation of space debris near the station's docks. Presumably, it is the remains of interplanetary shuttles. Perhaps the esteemed Navis Nobilite house requires aid and therefore cannot respond to our box transmission. Are you considering lemon droll? Because most Lysol just smells like lemon. Contact the station again. I will negotiate personally. I am sorry, Lord Captain. The station does not reply, even after an official greeting by a rogue trader and the declaration of your intent to negotiate in person. Alright, scan the station. The officers from the Augur crew performed a full scan of the station, but the information is imprecise. They note wave distortions of unclear genesis that are throwing off most of the readings. We were able to ascertain that the reactor core of the station is still active, but many compartments are unpowered and some fully depressurized. The signs of biological activity are largely present in the central module, which means the station has not been abandoned. So, the question remains, why are the esteemed navigators' heralds ignoring us? How do we get official approval? Lord Captain, only the navigators are blessed with the gift of steering ships through the immaterium. Anyone else would succumb to the same nightmarish influence it projects on the crew and the vessel. To attempt traversing warp space without a guide is a fool's errand. Forgive me for intruding, Lord Captain, but I feel it is my duty to remind you that the Navis Nobilite are highly respected citizens of the Imperium, humanity's guides through the warp. The power and status of a highborn navigator house is akin to that of your protectorate. To aid them in their hour of need is to acquire an influential ally. Alright, so we're not allowed to go get permission. Order the crew to commence docking with the station. Affirmative, Lord Captain. We do not know what is happening at the station, so you will have to look for the esteemed navigators blind. Dock safely, and may the God Emperor light your path. Let's bring everybody! It hasn't given me, like, a limit to party members, so I'm just like, all of the above. So, the navigators in Warhammer are, like, superpowered psychers that psychically move the whole ship into, like, this other dimension called the warp, and then they travel in that warp, and then they psychically pull it back out into, like, reality. And to do so, they have, like, there's been, like, genetically fine-tuned over the centuries or whatever. And they also have a third eye that, like, is on their head that they keep closed. And I don't know what the purpose of that is, but that's why there's, like, big eyeballs and stuff in their, like, architecture. I said let's go. Okay.
Pathetic worm. You dare to argue with your master?
It was not you whom I swore to serve within these walls. My lips are sealed.
Confess. What was the old man's last command? What are you planning?
Give up, Keeper. You have lost this battle. Again.
We're getting nowhere with these ones, sir. Permission to execute them.
Wretches, you will be consigned to oblivion for your transgressions against House Orcelio. Immortal Emperor, deliver your servants from peril. Prayers will not help you, servants of the damned. In the name of the House Orcelio, I command you to execute the infidels. Is this column bleeding? Not a step further. Master, we have some strange guests on the station. Thelic or Celio? A tall man stops you with a gesture when you approach. It's normal for that to happen, though. A tall man stops you with a gesture when you approach. Blood is trickling down the pearly scales of his weary face, and not just his own blood. Two jet black, unblinking eyes are watching your every move, and the third one, the mark of a navigator's fate, is menacingly pulsing behind the lowered lid in the middle of his forehead. Step back, or I will unleash all the horrors of the Sea of Souls upon you. Emperor, be my witness. Sea of Souls. Oh, the warp. Abelard, if you would be so kind. I came from Reich and Menoris after receiving your distress call. A call, you say? The dark pits of his eyes widen in surprise. Only one person could send you this way, and it must have been Yvain Winterscale. Why didn't he come himself? He hands his hands full elsewhere, or I came of my own free will. My people merely decoded the signal that was meant for Winterscale. You don't need to know that. He has his hands full elsewhere. The navigator gives a thoughtful nod and then straightens up as if realizing something important. I recognize that coat of arms. You must be from the illustrious Von Valancius dynasty. I am certain you are. Is this column bleeding? She says as people are executed in front of her. Both of these are normal for Warhammer. And since fate has brought you such an important person into my abode, allow me to introduce myself. Before you stands Felix Christoph August, keeper of the station. So, you did not come to offer support to the traitors? That is great news. Having said that, you must understand that Urac 5 is a holy sanctum for House Orselio, and the path to it is only revealed to a select few. It pains me to say you are not on the guest list. The navigator looks at his guards and winces. The soldiers are quivering as if their tormented flesh were being flayed, yet they keep clutching their weapons. Why would a keeper of the station command vile mutants condemned by the Emperor? The blame lies with Theobald Orselio, the second keeper of Urac 5. The old man was a great navigator, but he could no longer control his powers. I begged him to retire, but he was too obsessed with our mistress, Lady Cassia. His madness and stubbornness spelled doom for the entire station, for he opened his third eye in a fit of rage and unleashed the horrors of the warp on those who displeased him. The Theobald I knew would never have used his powers in such a reckless manner. This will be difficult to explain to the uninitiated, but I am going to try. Oh boy. The warp currents in this system have been tumultuous for dozens of cycles, and have worn the veil between our world and the immaterium thin and frail, at least here on the station. The ruinous powers are trying to tear it down, completely and corrupt all living things. The servants were the first to fall victim to it. Oh, their bodies morphed, and pain and despair drove their poor souls mad. The lunatics took my mistress prisoner and almost destroyed the station, but I rallied the few who still followed the light to the golden throne to set things right. The Lord Navigator here is speaking the unvarnished truth. I bet the station is full of voices and whispers, all trying to break through from the other side, waiting for you to reach out and swing the door open wide. The suffocating grip of the Immaterium can be felt across the entire system. It is not surprising the veil grew thin here of all places. The Navis Nobilite can command the warp currents, but the use of their abilities wears down the barrier between the two worlds. I sincerely hope the influence of the Immaterium has not yet infected your body and your soul. With all due respect, I advise you not to remain at the station. Return to your void ship. I need to save Lord Cassius. If you are not willing to help... I need to save Lady Cassia. If you are not willing to help or indeed risk your life, you must leave now. Let's see. What kind of help are you talking about? I would never ask you for such a favor under different circumstances, and yet... He takes his hand away from his ribcage, notices blood, and winces. And yet Lady Cassia's well-being is above all. I haven't got many people left, and my wounds are too deep for me to act with precision and swiftness, but you may actually succeed. In order to ascend to the Mistress's chambers, you will need to remake a holy relic sanctified with the blood of Lady Orselio herself. This is the control rod of the elevator machine spirit. I have one part, and the other was lost during the mutiny, but even this relic will be of no use unless the elevator mechanism is powered. This is This is a lot. How am I supposed to power the elevator? The station's main cogitator is situated in the guard room. Just enter the correct command sequence and the sacred mechanism will do the rest. How do I remake the control rod? I have a phylactery containing the mistress's blood. It needs to be taken to the laboratory, which is located behind one of the reliquary doors. The most ancient of sacred mechanisms will help to rebuild the rod. The tech priest ceaselessly performed the rites of appeasement so that the machine spirit would serve the house in its time of need. The fateful hour is now upon us. Pascal excitedly reaches for a data slate, requesting access to this object's data crypt. The Navis Nobilite use independent modifications of standard sanguinary technologies due to the uniqueness of the genetic code inherent in the lineage of each house. He's such a nerd. He's like, yes, let me at it. He looks exhausted, but arrogant resolve bolsters his voice. And these technologies were made secret for a reason. I must respectfully decline your request, esteemed servant of the Omnissiah. You have your sacraments and we have ours. Should I be writing this down? Sheesh. If it's so simple, why aren't you doing this? I never said the feat would be easy to accomplish. The path to the laboratory and the guard room is blocked by the very same madmen who took over the station. They will not negotiate and are not afraid of displeasing the Navis Nobilite or incurring the Emperor's wrath. They bow only to brute strength, something which I currently happen to lack. I guess that makes sense. So what have you decided, descendant of the Bon Balancius lines? I love that we can just, like, steal this guy. Like, that's one of the options. I don't know if we're on this guy's side or not. Like, I find him very suspicious. Alright. I'll rescue her, but then you have to sign a contract with me. So be it. Hurry, the mistress's safety is all that matters. But should you fail, our arrangement is finished. Alrighty. Why will you not click this?
The whispers told me how.
The corpses were mauled by a force far beyond any mortal capacity. The faces are twisted in pain and the hands are fused with improvised weapons, tools, scissors, and cutlery? Their hands are fused with random shit?
The world will bow.
Oh, that's useful. Because she's always shooting her allies. Because they're always in the way. I don't know. Purge soul? Okay. Close up my web so it doesn't get stale. Even though there's only one piece left. Ba -ba 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 -ba. I guess we can't jump over that one. Can we just open this door? I can't see! Move things! The elevator's power is out. Alright, so we're gonna have to leap.
A void station is a
No.
place of the old Messiah, who shields the rulers of this fortress against death and darkness. Why then are the vox channels dead? And why is the air not filled with the holy binaric rhythms?
I don't know if you've
The
noticed.
station's lack of response to our ship's hails was already suspicious. I am no less uneasy after the Magos' words. Hands at your weapons.
I don't know if you've noticed, Pascal, but this place is, gone to shit.
The world trembles beneath my feet.
Mumbles incoherently. Okay.
Perfection.
Most of these unfortunate souls took their own lives by slicing their guts wide open. Okay, if you're gonna take your own life, why is that the way you choose? Cause, that's like one of the worst ways to die. We got books.
Over there.
What am I looking at? Oh. Nothing. My mouse is in the wrong spot. We can't talk to any of these servants? Just steal their stuff and run away?
Intriguing.
Hello? There's a bad guy over there. Oh. Grab! Protect the child! Oh. Okay.
Your existence is naught but ashes.
For the Emperor!
Protect the child. I'm assuming Lady Cassia is a child, then. And I wonder if she has void powers and maybe is causing all this and doesn't know she's causing all this. Click. Click, please. Thank you. Oh, she can't go there. No, this dude.
Break them around!
I'm a Bolter.
Stay vigilant!
Why are we sliding around?
Focus!
Are they shooting us in a way where we literally just like go like flying?
Naturally. Let's see to it.
Did he miss? I knew he was going to. It is ad time.
Follow my lead. Brace yourself, Abelard.
Oh look, Abelard. They've aligned themselves in a nice row for you to do this.
Indeed.
Target is too far away.
Moving out. Onward.
Abelard again? I'm confused. He can't move though.
Weapon at the ready. Follow my lead. Break their morale. Stand.
Stop it!
Stop it is right. I'm over here.
Purpose guides me. I will. A blood-soaked tribute.
Was that you? Or what can I benefit? Follow my lead. Guided by faith.
Strike is a prayer.
You're really bad at not hitting your friends. You know that?
As the Emperor commands, I act. I'll do it.
Advancing. My vow is served. Running binaric override.
Oh, whoops, I should not have brought you up there.
Tactical imperative dictates.
Follow my lead.
Is a reward.
The Emperor is on our side. For the throne. But of course, Lord Captain,
Oh, did I miss? That's annoying.
someone's death wish is mine to grant. Everyone, step aside. No, your reckoning is due.
Anyone else? No? Just this person? Fine.
My place is at the fore.
Can you pew-pew this one?
And to one fewer target.
Alrighty. Fight's over. Give me all their stuff. Examine.
Triumphant. as
Statue by the
always.
famous Calixian sculptor, blah blah blah, the 23rd year of this millennium original. Okay. just like stealing books out of their library.
Powers unseen uncover my path.
Hello. Thank you. The library is full of treatises by the most distinguished scholars of the Imperium. And then we've come full circle. Alrighty. What's this way?
I can barely understand cogs when they talk, but it seems I'm going to have plenty of opportunities to bone up on my translation skills.
When the truth is comprehended, let it be sheltered from the profane mind and ring out in binary purity.
Hello, Mads! Hello, hello. Happy Friday! If you guys don't know, Mads is making our illustrious mod that lives in my attic his own ping tuber so that he can be on stream with me. And she is wonderful and super sweet and very silly. And she streams late nights. A lot of art and sometimes goofy little games. I don't know why all of the artists that I like know and have art being made and all that, they all stream at night. What is that? Like why do artists all stream it in the middle of the night? Rah to you too.
I tread a path unexplored.
The voices are most alive at night. Oh, are they now? Gra, protect the child. Are you a bad guy? No? Their name isn't Red. Are you just minding your own business? Protect the child. Okay. Oh. Oh! I just took out my staff and murdered that person. Okay.
Ruinous favor
A deep cut
prevails.
extends across the mutant's throat, and a holy Aquila has been carved into their forehead. Traitors are often executed in this way.
Embrace true power.
Which door do we open? This one. Where you
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
Okay. The mod that lives in my attic is going to abandon me. He's going to play D&D instead.
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
Multifunctionality, but you still won't let me romance you. Okay.
The world
I see how it is.
trembles beneath
It's not
my
that
feet.
multifunctional. I want to date the tech priest so bad. We found a rough, bloody sketch with a drawing of a tall woman and a dark-eyed monster painted with fresh blood. Okay. And we are like, that's what I want to take home with me from this place. I want to put that in my pocket. The tech priest. Yes. Pascal, the guy in the red robes. In Warhammer, machines are run by human souls. They are powered by human souls. And he is a priest who, like, takes care of those souls. The nerd. Yes, the nerd. The guy who was like, oh, please, 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 can I play with your fancy, like, things that no one else has. A mutated flesh sample. Navigator flesh. Why are we gathering flesh samples? Intercepted conversation between security operatives. Tremendous honor. Yes, but this promotion will transfer the entire squad to the child's personal guard. By the God Emperor, well, you are a strapping lad. You will probably make it for a cycle or 3. It has worn down better men than me. What even is the point if your brains turn into mush? I may rip out my eyes like Amos did. At best, I'll just go bonkers like that little shit stain that kept stealing our Iho? Oh, what happened to that one? Threw himself out of a depressurized chamber because some voices told him to. Yeah, I think there's a very powerful little kid. I think Lady Cassia is a child, and I think that, her psychic powers are, you know, are crazy. Crazy. Sure. We'll give you this gun instead, buddy. Keeper Theobald graciously agreed to provide samples of his skin growths so we could study the influence of the rebellious immaterium on the flesh of the Navis Nobilite. Okay. I don't know how to... How do I read this where it doesn't disappear on me? I don't know how to read the rest of that. We should start using these, like, grenades they give us. Here, everyone have a grenade.
This is unacceptable.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to give you that. I'm trying to give you this. Oh, you already have one. Whatever. Yeah, I'm picking them up. I don't know how. I looked it up, and the vendors, there are only, like, a couple of them, and they are part of factions, so you have to, like, go somewhere and talk to somebody's faction to, like, vendor things. Like, if you want to Google how do I vendor things, please do, because I tried Googling it, and I couldn't. They were just, like, talking about how you have to go to specific faction. Why can't I click on this? Thank you. Oh, this one comes with, like, a fancy... What's a heroic act? I don't know, but it looks like a better staff than what I have. Like, I couldn't figure out how to vendor things. Goodbye, mod who lives in my attic. I was like, you open the door, the dogs are gonna be like, we're going somewhere, we're going somewhere. Go to the city they are in and talk to the vendor? What city? I haven't found any cities. Every place we've been is like a hot mess. That's like under attack. They don't just have a vendor. Yeah, we haven't been to Footfall. Footfall is like where we're supposed to go at the end of Act 1. Yes? At 5:30 I must give my dog pills. I will set an alarm.
She's on a different schedule from Tech.
Why?
Because of how time works.
No. What?
Bubbles' pill is every 12 hours. Taffy's are every 8 hours.
Ugh. One of my dogs takes pills every 8 hours. The other dog takes pills every 12 hours, apparently. So we can't just do it at the same time. I don't have a 5:30 alarm. I only have a 5 o'clock alarm.
You could make new alarms.
I have like 40 different alarms on my phone, okay? I just pick one that's close. But I made a new one for 5:30. Even her avatar looked sheepish. What did I do? Alright, we must awaken the cogitator spirit. So, we came here, the first time I played this, I tried to play it with, like, my boyfriend, and we came here first. And I remember when we did the talk to the machine spirit thing, we didn't have Pascal yet, or the other dude. We didn't have these two guys. And I remember we were, like, fumbling around and messing it up a lot, and we didn't know how to make anything work. And I wonder if it's because we were supposed to have Pascal and we didn't. The cogitator's vid screen is covered in cracks and stained with dried blood. The buttons, switches, and levers were ripped out of the control panel with exceptional cruelty and scattered around the sacred mechanism that now sparks and hisses in agony, still refusing to perish. The text priest's box systems emit a binaric trill, and his mechadendrites start furiously lashing at the air. I am recording blasphemy. The person found guilty of such cruelty to a noble mechanism must be sentenced to immediate destruction. We're trying to awaken it. You turn a few of the remaining dials and pull the activation lever. The cracked bid screen of the sacred engine flickers. The cogitator's insides emit creaks and groans, and lumens oscillate at random. It takes a while, but eventually the machine spirits do grant you access to the cogitator system. Let's look at the log. Oh boy. Box report. This is Officer A282. Do you copy? Several generators overheated on the lower levels. Chambers A to D are unpowered. The tech priest crew sent to investigate the problem is not responding. Requesting back. And then it ends. Officer H123 speaking. 200 servants have perished due to explosive decompression of the living quarters. We've located traces of mechanical interference. The preliminary cause is officer sabotage. Crews 5, 6, and 9 are cut off from the main compartment. We have enough oxygen for 20 minutes. May the Emperor save our souls. Senior station officers, this is the captain speaking. We attempted to contact the Winter Scale Scion for help, but something is jamming the signal. We never received a reply and cannot be sure it was even sent in the first place. Our rescue team is not coming. We are on our own, so remain vigilant. Anyone who could be a traitor, you hear me? Anyone? If you are in doubt, shoot to kill. Aha. Let's look at the recent entries of the incident log. The servants close to the child have started butchering one another again. An order came from above to have their remains reprocessed. That is a bad plan. The negotiations with the Winter Scales were a success. A new batch of servants will arrive in 10 moons. Escort them to the laboratory at once. It is imperative that we increase the new retainer's resistance to the child's powers. Data expunged. Classified. Okay. When in doubt, shoot to kill. Examine the station's docking log. Identity confirmed. Regent Aeronto or Celio. Data visit classified. Reason for visit classified. Data departure classified. Okay. Security and life support logs. Click. Warning. Damage in technical compartments. These, and these. Warning. Living quarters. These, depressurized. Warning. Unable to access the station's docking system. Warning. Energy regulation system. Unknown error. The station will transfer over to emergency power. Immediate evacuation of the facility is advised. Warning. Pascal casts a brief glance at the bid screen and speaks dryly. The imminent demise of this void station is affirmed. The damage to its core infrastructure has reached critical mass, at which point further degradation has commenced in a cascading configuration. Encrypted data. Required access level, security captain or above. Current access level, senior security office. Break through the machine guardian's defenses with our magical tech powers. Because we have Pascal here. He can do anything. You easily bypass the restrictions imposed on the sacred machine. The cogitator's overloaded processors were unhappily. Most of the encrypted data has been wiped. You find traces of the purge protocol. Recovery is impossible, but a list of the most recent commands, having been embedded in the machine spirit's consciousness, now flits across the screen in a single creeping line. Child, delete, picked flow, disable, access code, annul, station controls, delete, activate, shuttle, self-destruct, purge, command log. Exploring the archives for a while longer yields a surviving excerpt from the guard captain's report mentioning that the security system had recently been reconfigured without his knowledge. His comment reads, "Only the keepers of the station have access to the life support system, but Keeper Theobald has not left the child's side, and neither have I. Could it be that... ... Request data on the station's navigators. Felic Orselio is alive. Theobald Orselio is alive. Calomira Orselio is dead. Alexis Orselio dead. Rasmus Esteban dead. So our only options are Felic, the guy who doesn't have a picture and is out there, probably going to betray us, or Theobald Orselio, who we have yet to meet. The child. Location, upper chambers. Biometric parameters. Rapid heartbeat, elevated body temperature. Stress levels exceed the permissible limit. Status, unknown error. Attention, calming procedure advised. Attention, upper chambers inaccessible. Error, the control rod is not present. If the rod has been misplaced, immediately contact a station keeper or the Navis laboratorium custodian. I have a feeling we're taking that child to be our navigator. Also, I like that, like, it's an element of game design that is really apparent to me, is that if you meet a character and they don't have a picture, like, this character is not going to live very long, because they didn't invest in, like, actually, you know, making them a full thing. Red shirts, exactly. So whenever you meet a character and it's like, I can go be your navigator, and they don't have a picture, I'm like, nah, you're gonna die. Ain't no way you're gonna become part of my main crew, not without a picture. We can call someone for help, but like, how are they gonna get here? Switch to a main elevator controls? Activate the elevator? Okay. Main chamber controls. Open all doors. Warning, data corrupted, processing, error, something is required. Pascal's box systems emit a binary trill. The spirits of the sacred machine require special purification rituals in order to restore utilization of the lingua more familiar to the citizens of the Imperium. Requesting access to the device. Yeah, go for it, Pascal. His fingers drum out a resonant crescendo on the control panel as his mechadendrites remove the metal cover and data cord slides into the machine's innards. The cogitator's body starts crackling with electrical impulses, and the tech priest nods with satisfaction. A few minutes later, Pascal raises his hands above the machine, chants a brief litany only he can understand, and pushes the surviving stump of one of the levers. My humble prayers have satisfied this machine's requirements. I just love the tech priest stuff in general. Just like, I love it. Main hall. The store has already been opened. Library, the store has already been opened. Adjacent compartment, I unlocked that one. Oh. The compartment you're trying to open is depressurized. Technical areas are now open. The guard room has already been opened. Laboratory. Is this like telling me where to go? Laboratory has been opened. I mean, we can try calling them for help. Yeah. Alright. You thank the machine spirits and reset the operating protocol. Okay.
Intriguing.
Now we should have access to everything. Have we cleared all these rooms? Yes. This door is locked, but we have Pascal, who has 100% tech use and can do anything. He's kind of OP. Athletics.
Experience. Nothing matters more.
Did it work? Oh, athletics was to, like, bust it down, I guess. Is that all we were doing with that? Okay. Collect everyone's accessories from the corpses. Oh, hurry up with the search while the veil still holds. You are hardly fit to handle the demons. Excuse me. I can handle some demons, I'm sure. It looks like laboratory is the only place we need to go. Alrighty, what's in here? The caustic stench of reagent sears your nostrils, broken glass crunches underfoot. Somebody wanted to destroy the library or find something.
Perfection.
Synthetic amniotic fluid pools across the floor. Barely discernible traces stretch to the side opposite the entrance. So did something escape this thing? And then crawl
Let's seize the opportunity.
over there where it looks like there's more people growing in vats, you know, normal things. So, like, how do I... Is it info? Oh, it's info. Okay. Experimental section. The child's influence on the psycho-emotional state of various representatives of the Imperium. So, they sent a man in. Test subject exhibits signs of acute stress. The majority perished of blood loss within a day of being placed in the laboratory chamber due to the inability to halt the discharge of ocular secretions, tears, and the ability of subsequent replacement of those secretions with the connective tissue of its internal environment. The individuals with the greatest resistance to the sacred child's resonance died several chronoturns later. Extensive wounds in the abdomen, presumably inflicted by a jagged piece of metal. Death was caused by strangulation with the subject's own intestines. The subject's spinal shouts exhibited concerns over abominable tentacles and void worms, hallucinations prescribed to their own internal organs. They sent in some women. Test subjects died within an hour of entering the laboratory adjacent to the child's chambers. Most had their tongues bitten off or their jaws badly dislocated. Some test subjects lacked the physical strength to separate it from the rest of the skull. Cause of death, severe head injuries caused by impacting the walls or the floor. A paralyzed patient who lost the ability to speak due to the shock caused by a manufacturing accident. They sent him in. He noted a tingling sensation in the deteriorated tissue. During Regent Aranto Orselio's visit to the child, the test subject smiled and started humming, most likely trying to carry some plebeian tune, and then attempted to address the servant who brought him food. A lengthy conversation was prohibited due to the servant's lack of a tongue. A defective offspring of Lord P. Orselio, pronounced unfit for studying the high art of navigation, owing to the mutation of tissues required for installation of the obligatory augments that merge one's consciousness with the vessel. Additionally, they display an overly feebleness of mind. So they sent that person in. The test subject mirrored the child's actions for 3 days. On the 4th day, the child became upset after hearing the news about the untimely demise of Amos Cantarelli, an officer of her personal guard. As a result, one of the test subjects peeled away several layers of tissue from her face and died from the resulting massive heart attack. The last surviving test subject was executed for attempting to contact the child. So, they wouldn't let them speak to her? Remake the control rod. Okay. So we can now use the elevator. Research notes. More and more servants are being influenced by the Immaterium, and it has nothing to do with the child's more frequent tantrums. We've discovered that the corrupted flesh of the mutated reacts most unusually to the crystals we purchased from the Winterscale dynasty. I strongly recommend finely grinding the reagent to catalyze the reaction. Do not use acid under any circumstances. Trust me, you will not like having to tend to the burns for the next dozen turns in a row. This calls for something more basic. Oh, and one more thing. The tech priest blessed the data crypt H41OK for the calculated number of chronoturns, which means it is no longer necessary to remain near the device while waiting for the reaction to start. The data crypt H40KO malfunctioned over the course of our research. I should remind the technomats to deliver the sacred mechanism into Magos Diotis' capable hands. It looks like there's a whole thing here where we can make something. So like data crypt connector, we have H40, a K04, and we have this one, which is the one that was in the document. Reagent flask, catalyst flask, tissue flask, and a transducer. We have a psi crystal and adamantine. They mentioned the crystals, so maybe.
I see the forbidden.
Oh. Okay. We now have crystal dust. Okay. In that case, can we just stick this in here and get what? Adamantine dust? We now have adamantine dust. Alrighty. A catalyst. They said don't use acid. We have biogel and black water. Biogel makes most sense, I guess. Reagent flask. Crystal, not adamantium. And tissue flask. We have a mutated flesh sample, a navigator flesh sample, and just a flesh sample. Adamantine dust and black water. This was the worst idea. Can I not? Why can't I, like, read that? Info. Okay. So, the skin growths are... This is a navigator sample. Adamantine dust and black water. This is the worst idea that could have entered my mind. I'm lucky to still have my head on my shoulders. The adamantine seems to protect the frail flesh of the lowborn to a degree. Having said that, not even the macerator can handle its temper, so we should probably introduce a more complex compound to the formula. All the data related to the experiment were recorded on K04. Have I mentioned that the chunk of meteorite found by Keeper Felix's subject is completely useless, although its shining granules could be used to make new paints for the child? Yes, I think I'm going to do that. Okay, so navigator sample, adamantine dust, and black water explodes. They said don't use acid with the crystal stuff. Maybe we should look through the rest of the laboratory. I don't know why we're making things, but it lets us make things, so I'm assuming we should. Okay, that's literally all we can look at. Psst. Okay, so if we put in the crystal, the biogel, and then tissue... What did it say? Science! We discovered that the corrupted flesh reacts most usual to the crystals. Okay, no acid. So they want us to put mutated flesh in here.
How fascinating.
We got... Oh! Antidotes! Okay. Nice. I don't want cargo. I want it... Don't I want it to be, like, mine? Like, in my inventory? I don't know. They took it away from me. So, if we do the... Oh, wait. Was it K40 or KO4? Bop. I am done with 41. All the data related to the experiment are recorded on 04. Okay, so... Nothing says science like corrupted flesh. Okay, so we want 04, and then this one we want black water? No, wait. He said black water and adamantine was a bad idea, so we're gonna do acid and adamantine. And then they said the low-born flesh does something with that, so I'm assuming we want regular flesh.
Empyrean guides my gaze.
This time we got grants immunity to warp damage. Cool. But like that screen where it has like my cargo on one side. Where are the things we just made? Aha! Give it back. Why can't I have it? What is it? I feel like I just broke the whole thing. Now I can't even scroll. Okay. Enter text. It was called an antidote. Add to inventory and add to inventory. Okay. So now we have those, like, things. These ones grant immunity to toxic damage. And these ones grants immunity to warp damage. But they cannot deal warp damage. So we need to give that to, like, Abelard or her, because the people who aren't using the warp, it protects them from warp damage. That would be you three. The rest of us are psychers. So I guess the rest of us then can have the antidotes. I'm assuming these will come up in the boss fight in this section. Since she does warp stuff, like the child or whatever, I have a feeling we're gonna need that to get through, so we don't all become crazy and start stabbing ourselves or whatever.
I tread a path unexplored.
Alrighty, how did we get? We jumped over this. Jump!
An expected result.
Thank you, Abelard. He looks a little better. You dealt with the threat and powered the elevator. Well done. I trust you brought the activation rod as well. Remember, every second of hesitation may cost my mistress her life. Adira suddenly cocks her head and drives her nails deep into her shoulder, then starts mumbling. The crossroads. There are two paths, both stained with blood, both leading to the accursed eye. They all wear masks, so poor and flimsy. They fall at the slightest touch, one hiding a blind man, another a traitor. Thank you, everything is clear now. What paths? I cannot say. One is paved with blind faith, the other with hatred and treachery. Both lead to tragedy. You simply must have to decide which tragedy you like the most. Who is who? My whispers are giggling nastily. They will not speak, the naughty little things. They say that tearing off the masks is your concern. Thank you. Everything is clear now. This station has enough problems without your sorcery, Psyker. I have questions. You think they are worth the life of my mistress? Yeah. Who is this child that everyone's talking about? You meddled with something that should have been left alone. The child is what the station servants call Lady Cassia, for the commoners' dirty mouths must not sully her name by uttering it. You see, it is not beneficial for all servants to have their vocal organs altered. Some prove to be more useful when they are still able to speak. Wow, okay. The servants alone cannot be blamed for what happened on the station. Most corpses I discovered were either unarmed or feeble. The warp corrupts not only the soul, but just as much the body and the mind. Mad and furious, a single servant wielded more strength than an entire squad of the mistress's personal guards. The bodyguards had their minds fogged as well, but their honed will let them hold out just long enough to destroy those who rushed in to assault them with bare hands. Destroying the shuttles, shutting off the power, and disabling the security systems, too many things required special access available only to the keeper of the station. As I'm sure you are aware, there were two keepers of the station. Your guess is absolutely correct. Theobald or Celio, the demented old man obsessed with Lady Cassia and her power, and also the one to blame for the woes that have befallen Urak 5 and our noble line. I saw the security captain's report. Only the keepers have access to the station's systems, but Theobald stayed at his side the entire time and could not have initiated the self-destruct protocol. Which means he did it before the report was filed, or maybe after, or... You dare suspect me of what happened? The one who is going out of his way to preserve what little there is still left? By the God Emperor, you will keep these slanderous accusations to yourself. I don't know. I don't trust this guy, but like... I haven't met the other guy, so I don't even know. The madmen I fought were convinced that we were the traitors. That's why they are insane. Will you really heed the ramblings of retainers who dared to raise their hand against the scions of a noble bloodline? If I say I don't trust him, he's gonna, like, attack me, right? What do you guys think? Like the lady said, we are basically choosing between two bad options. But right now the choice is whether or not we trust this guy, who, when we walked in, was demanding to know what some quote-unquote old man said, and then executed 3 people for yelling at him and saying, "You are not our master, we won't follow you." So basically, our options are to say we trust this guy and let, like, this was all shut down, so he can't access the child, the, like, super powerful psyker person. We have now repowered it, and so it's like, do we want to walk this man directly to her? Do we trust him that he says that, like, all this stuff has gone down and he's trying to save her? Or do we think that he's the one that was trying to, like, hurt her or something, and it was all shut down to keep him out? Because I don't trust him. If we say we don't trust him, he and his people are gonna attack us, which is fine, but... What do we think? Do we think he actually is trying to save this girl, or do you think that everybody was trying to keep him out? And that he is trying to bust in? He seems reasonable. I'm sure he'll understand your hesitation. Yeah, he does not seem reasonable at all. He literally, like, when we got here, he had 3 people at gunpoint and was like, tell me, like, whatever. And they refused because they were like, you are not our master. You're not the one that we report to. And so he killed them all. I don't trust him. I think I'm gonna say I don't trust you as far as I can throw you. Prepare for combat. I do not trust you. It really is time to end this. I was hoping to find an ally in you, but now you are merely delaying the sorrowful end of your story. Prepare to die.
My horse records your wickedness. Prepare for disposal.
Yes, prepare for disposal. Yeah, you stay right where you are. Me, however, I need to not be directly there. I am not built for upfront combat. Argenta, dispose of them.
As the Emperor escaped the Emperor's judgment, doubt is for the weak.
The option was him or... Our option was him or somebody we have not met who has been by the girl's side this whole time. He can just teleport? Okay. It looked like he teleported and then shot himself. He tried to teleport, and then he was standing right next to me, and so I smacked him, and now he's like almost dead. Oh yeah, she's a beast, and so are these 2 guys. It's my turn. I can't, what, like, can't reach that guy?
One step closer.
Check this out.
Purpose.
We're playing on easy mode. Just wanted to point that out.
I'm done with this one.
Okay, we got him. Do we still have to keep fighting you guys?
Why did I not see this?
I don't know what I've done, but some of them have the ability to dodge by, like, jumping a space. And I don't know if I like that very much. Why can I not click on things very easily?
But of course.
Please don't giggle with Sith lightning, it's unsettling. That was a great Kremlin laugh. Who's left? Oh, that guy in the corner. Pascal, you suck at shooting people, so... Pascal is basically here because I love him. He's not good at combat. Like, at all. He misses all the time.
I took care of this one.
Alright. We have murdered them all. He had interesting stuff on him. What is this? Oh, that's the control rod. Keeper's control rod. Oh, so now we have both. The Staff of Horse Orcelio. Oh. Only a navigator can use it. Well, when we get our navigator, we will have a staff for them. Which means we're probably not taking the child with us, because I'm assuming they wouldn't have us bringing the child into combat. But, you know, it's Warhammer, so who knows what they're doing. So, like, I got this before, but it never worked. And I don't understand it. This one lets me... So if somebody's already burning, I catch them more on fire. I guess? I kind of wish that it would just automatically level up, because I don't know what to do with half of this. Okay. So we killed this dude. Now we're gonna go upstairs to have our crazy brain issues happen with the child. Why are you slowly walking over here, Abelard? Why? What was that dramatic walk over here?
Embrace true power.
Alrighty. I should save. I didn't save. There's Cassia. Oh, look! How is that a child? That's not a child, that's a grown-ass woman. The pale figure with unnaturally long limbs covers her face with her hands, which are deformed with talon-like nails. Her deathly pale face is coated with blood that continually streams from her scarlet-misted eyes. Her spiny gills, suddenly hidden under her slightly hidden under her disheveled hair, twitch nervously at your approach. Only now do you notice the third eye on the young woman's forehead, hidden by a jeweled ornament, and when your eyes meet, you sense overwhelming, soul-smothering powers. As the overworldly creature's gaze slides over you, your entire core shudders in terror. Flashes of past warp nightmares. Oh, this is from my backstory. I survived a brush with a warp phenomenon sometime in your distant past. You gasp for air in terror, drowning under a crashing wave of pain. You cannot catch your breath. Hot tears burn on your cheeks. Why is this happening? Why is it happening to you? Why do you feel so lonely and in so much pain? Do these feelings even belong to you? Adira emits something between a moan and a drawn-out whimper. Ow, 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 as if my little pals weren't bad enough. Now this one's barging into my head. Somebody stop her! I am registering abnormal activity in my tear ducts. The salt being produced by my body may negatively affect the performance of my respiratory apparatus. The vulnerability must be rectified. It has been logged. He's crying! He's crying! Screenshot. He crying! Heresy! Argenta looks at the tall figure with a strange mixture of anger and sadness. Then she lowers her head and her white hair veils her face. Overcome the crushing despair. I know why I am here, and so I will stand strong as any illusion. I can persuade her. If you do not stop your sorcery immediately, I will shoot you in the head. Let's persuade her. I'm here to help you. Please calm yourself. She wearily shakes her head and lets out a drawn-out sound similar to both a sob and the howl of a small wounded animal. What is happening? Was someone calling my name? Are all the betrayers dead already? And you? Who are you? I am me. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Pardon my manners. I did not expect to make such a gracious acquaintance in a time of such great sorrow for our house. What is this? I feel faint. Heinrich jerks abruptly as if he intends to dash forward, but someone else is quicker. Theobald Orselio. The heavyset old man who has been kneeling nearby erupts into low sobs, his eyes swollen from crying, dart desperately around the room as though the veil of ignorance has just been ripped away from them. The child! Lady Cassia, where are you? Sacred child! Throne preserved! He rushes up to her. You! He looks at me, and, he looks like a dead fish. A sickly sweet scent assaults your nostrils as if the old man's flesh is rotting inside his decaying husk. My eyes fail me, for they are unable to make you out as either enemy or ally. I am warning you, one wrong move will bring the wrath of House Orselio down upon your head. Watch out, Lord Captain. This one is so deranged it is making the Whisper shriek like crazy. He might just open that eye of his. Threatening the head of the dynasty is a grave offense, esteemed whatever you are. At present, I am trying to determine what is happening here. I'll grant that you do not look like pirates who have come coveting the riches of a wrecked station, or like scoundrels in Felic's service. So who are you? I am a rogue trader. You know what? Abelard always wants to introduce us. He, like, wants to be that guy, so... And I always just introduce myself. Abelard, introduce us. Her ladyship rogue trader, Jaeli von Valancius, heir to the greatest protectorate in the Coronis Expanse and bearer of the sacred warrant of trade, extends her greetings. You know that made his day. He's been dying to do that. Another rogue trader in our corner of the galaxy? How interesting. Your kind always makes an appearance in desperate times, ready to cut a deal that benefits one side alone. Given that you have not so far drawn your weapons, your intentions are probably peaceful, and so House Orselio now asks a service of you. Save the life of the child in exchange for future cooperation. Do not hurry to answer, think on it. You can make yourself an ally or an enemy of our house today. I was already gonna save her. What is the curse that has taken hold of everyone in this room? I already know that. You look frightening? That's not relevant. What service do you ask of me? Save the sacred child! Take her away from this station! I fear I do not have long left. Okay. Save the child and deliver her safely to Regent Aranto, acting head of House Orselio in the Coronis Expanse. Rest assured that the reward will be worth your effort. I know we came here for a navigator, but after everything we've seen, I've got some reservations about this girl. Argento looks at Cassia and a painful furrow appears on her brows. Such a fragile thing with such a heavy burden upon her shoulders. You are talking as though you expect to die here. My service to the house is coming to an end. The wounds Felic inflicted on my flesh will never heal. I am dying. Praise the throne slowly enough to see the child is taken care of. If you need help, we got medical stuff. No, I am the keeper of Urac 5, and I will perish along with my station. On that note, I have other matters to attend to. What happened between you and Felic? Felic is my wayward student. He came to Urac 5 as a callow youth. I personally mentored him and entrusted him with the care of the child. He was like a son to me, but he proved to be just another traitor. He sought to steal our most precious treasure, the heir of our house, our sacred child, to revel in power with the others like him, casting our house into the abyss, to pervert the centuries-long traditions of our family. You can see the fruits of his villainy for yourself. He decided he was not bound by his duties to the legacy of the greatest of our novitors, Tissabonorzelio, who led our house to prosperity for countless years. He has things to do, apparently. Foolish boy. The renegades clouded his mind. They sought to seize control of the dynasty before the sacred child had come of age and taken the Nobitor's throne. The interrogator looks from the unconscious Cassia to Theobald. I presume this Navis Nobilite house has reasons for treasuring the child, other than uncontrolled outbursts of warp sorcery. What might those be, I wonder? A young, immature navigator who likely hasn't yet completed her training. Enough! I will not have you questioning myself or my charges within the dominion of House Rosalio. Felix accused you of treachery. Why should I trust you? Defending myself before strangers. I never thought I would fall so low. If the child's life were not at stake. Very well, I have no choice. Or proof of my innocence. I can give you my word as a member of the Navis Nobilite. If the honest word of an honorable man counts for anything with you. I guarded this station against calamity and incursions from without to the best of my ability. I forced the wardens to strictly observe security protocols. I personally selected every servant, and I faithfully protected the child during the coup. That really didn't explain anything? I didn't really... I mean... Okay, I made my decision. No, what? Why are we running an ad? So... Ta-da, we're back! Alright. I've made my decision. We're taking Cassia with us. Like, obviously we're taking Cassia with us. She has a picture. Does this guy have a picture? No. So why would we bring him in to be navigator on our ship? He's literally dying. Cassia shall come with us. Good, that is good. But do allow us to say our proper farewells. Coughing. Oh. I was like, why did they choose to voice act coughing ASMR? I could have, but why? He's really, selling the coughing and dying old man thing. A hot wave of despair that is not yours washes over you. Your palms sweat and your heart freezes in panic. The crimson tears stained Lady Navigator's white skin once again, but this time her power does not make everyone weep along with her. I regret we had to meet under such circumstances. This isn't my business. Say nothing. If you wish to leave the station alive, you must first sign a contract you will undertake to serve as my navigator. Nah. 3. Let us aid one another. Become my navigator and I shall restore you to House Orselio at the earliest opportunity. He's a drama queen? Oh, am I kicking somebody out? Me and Adira have, like, the same build. Like, we're the same class, and it doesn't really make sense for her to be in our party anymore. It is as if the painting was rendered by several different hands. The timid, uncertain lines are interlaced with rough and furious strokes coming together in arcane shapes. While no one appears to be living in the cage, somebody still filled the trough with dried fruit and fresh water. Weird. She has a bunch of servants and defenders. We're not kicking out my beloved. The luxurious feast was left untouched. Let's go. Oh wait, speaking of navigator, we have a staff for you that we stole off the man that, like, just, you know, tried to kill you. Oh, it's the exact same staff she has. Well, fine. Fine then, you get nothing. Here. Improved outfit for you. Alrighty, let's go. Wait, she's literally just standing back there. Is she gonna come back with us? I'm not, like, leaving her here, am I? Adira is not just gonna stand there, right? Also, without Pascal, we actually have to try and pass, like, tech use checks. When he's with us, we just automatically win every tech challenge. This dramatic-ass chair. Lord Captain, Lady Navigator, welcome aboard. The Sanctum Navis has been prepared for the communion ritual, but if the Lady Navigator wishes to rest in her quarters first... Your heart starts beating furiously, your breaths come short and choppy, and your fingertips tingle unpleasantly. You notice that Vigdis is shivering slightly, and the crew are glancing around in puzzlement, searching for the source of the sudden wave of unease. You decided not to make use of the charm that could inhibit Cassia's powers? What? We We had a charm that could make her powers not. Since when? Without even looking at them, she waves her away. First, I wish to speak with the rogue trader. Leave us. Of course. When you are ready for the ritual, please let me know. What do you want? I have not yet thanked you for saving me on the station. My thoughts were clouded with so much mournful ash when Theobald's heart stopped, but you acted honorably and did not exploit me in my wretched position, and for that I am immeasurably grateful. But now, I am ready to go to the Sanctum Navis and perform the sacred rite. I require brushes, canvas, and the best paints you have on board, but no red. What? Why are you asking for this? You are asking questions, the answers to which you cannot comprehend. Perhaps I may explain it all to you at a later point, but now our time is too precious to waste. As a navigator of House Orselio, I give you my word that without canvas and paint, we have little hope of a smooth journey through the warp. I have no reason to lie. Interesting. Okay, well, I'll send them up then. I shall take my leave of you for the duration of the rite. I ask that you do not follow me. Few can survive the gaze of my warp eye when it is opened. She navigates by painting? That is pretty cool. Lord Captain, I will oversee the open channel between the Lady Navigator and the bridge, and may the Emperor's light help us all. Cool ritual cutscene time. Let's go. The Boxcaster picks up the susurration of clothes. Yet another made-up literature word. Pious chanting and the metallic clinking of implants. Then the serene voice of the Lady Navigator breaks the silence. Initiating communion ritual. You hear the exultant ring of metal freed from its scabbard. Then the stifled gasp of the Lady Navigator, the rhythmic drip of liquid on canvas, and the faint whisper of a brush. 'Cause she's using her blood to paint. That's why no red. I see violet vortexes lashing an ocean with a million flails, and umber shadows spinning over the surface in a fiery dance, a storm rising above foaming waters, armadas drowning in fog. The path from one end to another cannot be seen. And here, beyond the wall of glass, a daughter forsaken by her father yearns for her brother, and the sun's pale disk goes in tireless pursuit. Of her? No, of me. Its frozen rays lie that spring is here. The light is deadened. The great ruler is gone. Cassia just like me, for real, for real. The Boxmaster recoils at Cassia's words and accidentally snaps one of the cogitator levers. The panel beneath her fingers emits sparks, and the Boxcaster falls silent. She quickly flips a series of switches and bows guiltily. My abject apologies for cutting off the broadcast, Lord Captain. I have never heard the warp speaking through a navigator before. The connection is restored now. It will not happen again. I'll see to it you receive 5 lashes. What? No. Cassia, are you alright in there? Soul-shredding screams drown out the box transmission. The servants in the Sanctum Navis are howling and shrieking like wild beasts, moaning in pain, their throats raw from the strain. And then, sudden silence. The dull thud of dropping bodies proclaims their fate. It appears the servants were part of the Lady Navigator's rite, as it was for her predecessor. I will arrange for the bodies to be removed from the Sanctum Navis after the ritual, or what is left of them. Rogue Trader, I fear I have unfortunate news. Endless blackness has spread across the canvas, dividing what should be whole in two, and my sight cannot glimpse the light of the Emperor as clearly as before. I cannot turn around. My brush only draws me onward. The way is blocked. You hear a heavy exhale, rustling fabric, and metallic clicking. By the Emperor's grace, the ritual was successful. Your vessel's temperament presented a challenge. Its cold steel grip did not allow me to breathe freely even for a second. It was as if the depths of the ship housed not only machine spirits, but something other. Now I will retreat to my chambers to recover my strength. Send for me if you have need of me. Yeah, she killed those people. Yeah. The thing with the light of the Emperor, apparently the Emperor's like throne that he sits on acts as a giant lighthouse to help people cross through the void. So like everyone navigates the warp because in like one corner of it is a giant lighthouse. And the lighthouse is like his psychic powers. And that's why he's like not exactly alive. He's in a vegetative state because all he's doing is being a giant lighthouse. And yeah. And she was like, I can't see it. And I'm like, that seems to be a problem that we're not discussing for some reason. Lord Captain, congratulations on acquiring a navigator. Please spare me a few moments of your time, as there are several matters that require our attention. First of all, I wish to report on the condition of the station Urak 5. Regrettably, we arrived too late to evacuate the residents of the station. The warp disruptions affecting Urak 5 twisted the bodies and minds of its attendants. The corruption failed to affect Lady Cassia, thank the Emperor. The navigators are trained to resist the Immaterium's pull. Call if you have need of me. Now we good. I would also like to remind you that Governor Medina is still waiting to talk to you and his command sister. Yeah, we're gonna go talk to him. So what is... Can I look at this? No? Okay. Alright, we have to go here and talk to their governor. And of course not. Of course we can't just travel across a map. Lord Captain, there is some commotion on the officer's deck. The Lady Navigator has left her quarters and is currently in the wardroom where united, uninitiated crew members are shunning her in terror. Perhaps you should find out what has brought Cassia to the deck. You know, our other navigator had, like, fused himself with the chair and couldn't leave. Why is she just, like, strolling about? She's hiding a book behind her back. I see you are fond of reading. Alrighty. Bitch, you literally drove an entire, like, station of people crazy with your brain. You don't get to sit here and pretend like, oh, I'm a princess and I'm so good at everything and how rude of anyone to not like me. Like, excuse me? Are you satisfied with your new attendance, I guess? Lord. So can we go back and get that thing that's gonna, like, contain her powers and make her my slave? Can we go get that thing? Because I don't like her. I do not like her. I now regret having her here. I didn't know she was gonna be like this. She cringes ever so slightly, adjusts the adornment on her forehead, then awkwardly hides her clawed fingers in the folds of her clothes. The unnatural appearance of navigators often becomes the topic of gossip among lowly servants and officers alike. It is clear that she does not feel comfortable aboard a ship teeming with new people. Oh, people think that you look weird. Oh no, you killed an entire group of people with your brain. Are you well? A faint malaise? Uh-huh. Girl, I only asked about those things because the quest dialogue would not proceed if I didn't pick them all. Quite the opposite. That bitch needs a muzzle. She really does. Damn. Uh... I can insult her. I can tell her to shut the hell up. Or I can be kind to her. Or I can literally just be like, yeah, okay, I'm done talking to you. uh... It's not about feeling empathy for a mutant. I can feel plenty of empathy for a mutant. What I can't feel empathy for is the lady who killed an entire place with her brain and then is, like, acting all hoity-toity and, like, thinks she gets to go wherever she wants and do whatever she wants. Ugh. Alright, I'm done talking to you. She covers her burning face and swiftly exits the room. Oh, you don't get to act like a dainty little, like, shy, blushing flower whenever... No. Get out of here. Go away. I don't like you. This is the kind of person Vana would check. Although I didn't know we had a library on our ship. This is neat. Is this, like, where she lives now? She's like, oh, I love poetry. Oh, I love, oh, how dare anyone speak to me as such, since I am a spoiled little princess. No, you are a murderer.